What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked. It is episode 407 for August 21st, 2019. Coming up, all the Gamescom stuff to get through. We've got some big news on Halo Infinite, a new creative director stepping in there. Phil Spencer talking Xbox Scarlett. Plus, Gears 5 finally showing off the campaign again for the first time in a while. Sony picks up the developer of a fan favorite Xbox franchise and more coming up on this week's podcast Unlocked.
Podcast Unlocked.
As I totally flub the music. Yeah.
Already off to a great
All
start.
right, my friends. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. There's no Destin safety net this
That's
week.
true.
It's just me.
And there's literally no one else. It's just you
just
must be
you-
truly desperate to come
So,
to just me.
It's just you and me. So
Yeah.
I managed to not hit the music button.
Sure.
Right. So we had some dead air there for a few seconds.
Yep.
It's just,
and then like 4 different songs at once. We're good.
Yeah, it's fine.
We're good.
It's fine.
As we say
We're
on
starting 29 minutes late.
Yeah, as we say multiple times, professionals would start over. We're not doing that.
Why
We're
would
just
I
going to
do
keep
that?
rolling.
Yeah.
We're
It's
just going to keep going.
We're just human. It's more natural.
You can only expect so much from Ryan and Mark when no one else is here.
Welcome to the Mark and Ryan show here at KIGN. No, it's good to be with you, Mark Medina.
Hi.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey. It's just two
me.
of us.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is so weird.
Miranda was unavailable today. 'Cause the people that are in the office are pretty slammed with Gamescom stuff and various projects. And then the rest of them are at Gamescom. Destin, as we warned you last time, Germany.
BT,
Brandon
he's
Tyrell,
there.
Germany. So, and even like, and if I even sound bad because I had a cold last week, which is now, it's gone, except it's just like clogged my sinuses entirely.
It's that whole thing where you're like, oh, I feel totally fine.
Yeah.
My voice isn't back and all this stuff is wrong with me, but like I feel totally fine. Yeah, sure. That's totally. Yeah, it's a very weird time right now. If you walk out to the office, it's just a skeleton crew, and me and you were at an all-day event yesterday, and it's like that's stuff like that's really, really hard because there's so little people here. So then when you send 2 people to an event, there's even less people.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like it. It's very quiet.
It is quiet.
It's very dark.
Yeah, I'm flubbing the show already. We're half an hour late. There's only 2 of us. But you know what? Enough complaining.
Let's do this.
There actually is a lot to talk about. So
Yes.
let's get to it first. I want to quickly mention up top again, our IGN first game, or basically our cover story for this month, is Borderlands 3. Brian Malkowitz, James Duggan, Seth Macy have been producing. They are 3 of our biggest Borderlands fans in the office.
Yep.
They've been working on this project.
I made a lot of those videos as well.
Oh, thank you.
We went to
I've been editing a lot of it, I know.
yeah, we went to a thing and we got to play the game a fair amount, and the IGN first. It's kind of one of the first times I've been this involved with an IGN first, and it's going off.
It's
pretty
going
well.
great. Yeah, no, you
Pretty well.
you guys are producing excellent content. So I just want to start the show with a plug to check out anything you may not have seen, because we've had a lot of content. There's a lot. We've got a ton of footage, a ton of great stuff. Today's was the making of a gun. It was sort of a behind the scenes piece on how they make one of the billion guns.
Yeah, which was a follow up to like how they were able to make a billion guns. And and this is a really, really cool IGN first, because it's usually like, here's IGN first, and now we're not gonna, we're just gonna get little bits of information about the game over the next few months. This IGN first ends, and then you're playing the game.
Yeah, the game's
2
out
weeks
like 2
later.
weeks later. So
that's awesome.
We've just got a shotgun blast of content.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
So do check it out. And then a quick shout out to the Gamescom team that's not here. I know we mentioned Brandon and Destin, but they're posting up a ton of good stuff. So if you haven't been giving any extra clicks to IGN this week, I encourage you to do so, because there's a preview of Disintegration, which is the new first-person shooter from Marcus Lito's new studio. Now, if you're like, who's Marcus Lito? He's the co-creator of Master Chief. He was the art director at Bungie for many years, going back to the original Halo up through. He was the project lead on Halo Reach. So those of you who are Reach fans might be interested in Disintegration, which looks very intriguing. It's like it is a shooter, but it's sort of got some strategy, tactic stuff to it as well. Just go read the preview. If you just Google IGN Disintegration, I'm sure you will find that. There's a preview. Our team got to play Marvel's Avengers, the Square Enix Crystal Dynamics Avengers game. So that's definitely worth a read as well. There's previews of Need for Speed Heat up there, a new preview of Blair Witch, and a ton more stuff. So if you kind of want to just zero in on the Xbox stuff, you can always go to IGN.com/Xbox, and that will take you. That will just filter out any movies, TV, PlayStation, Nintendo, and just feed you Xbox stuff. So all right. Mark, let's get started with the news. I promise I'm going to hit the right button this time. Ready? I did it.
We did it.
I produced correctly. Okay, cool. So let's get started. And this is a topic that certainly I think got the anxiety going for a lot of Xbox fans, and justifiably so. But I'm here to explain why. I'll be curious your take. I don't think we need to panic on this one, so this sounds bad. Halo Infinite's creative director has left 343 Industries.
Oh no!
You think
that game's not out yet?
That's bad. That's not good. There's like a little over a year to go. Tim Longo, the creative director on Halo Infinite, has left 343, and Microsoft confirming that after an initial report from Kotaku. So the executive producer, Mary Olson, will now lead the campaign team for Infinite. And, quote, quote from Microsoft, the overall creative vision and production of the game remains led by Chris Lee, studio head of Halo Infinite. Now, if you're like, wait, how can you be a studio head of a game? I agree that is super weird, but that's somehow 343 structured that way because it used to be that Josh Holmes was the studio head of Halo 5. After being the project lead on Halo 4. So it's a little odd, but the point is Tim was, creative director, but by all accounts, it seems like the game has been kind of Chris's project from the go.
Yeah, so it looks like Mary Olson will just kind of take over his duties, but you would have to assume it's late enough in development that the ship can't really go off course. It's headed where it's headed.
I mean, you say that, and I don't say what I'm about to say is not in any sort of negative way, but you might be right.
Sure.
However, previous Halos have notoriously gone through hellish development phases where basically the whole game ends up getting done in the last year. Because you remember Halo 1 kind of was, what's this going to be? And then they really just, in that last 12 months, just turned and burned, just made it happen. And then Halo 2, really famously, there was the E3 2003 campaign demo, the level that never came out, that all that was scrapped. And they basically did all of Halo 2 in the last year as well. So Mary may have a lot of big decisions ahead of her yet.
Sure.
Or you're right, there may be maybe not as many big picture decisions, but no doubt probably a lot of smaller things that will impact the project just as much. It's impossible for us to know without being at 343 to really see
how completed it is, and how much Chris Lee has control over the fact that it's like, okay, we're swapping out personnel, but we're good to go. Yeah. You're just taking over these duties, I mean,
I've seen major AAA games that are basically done, for all intents and purposes, they're very done months in advance, outside of tweaks and polish.
Sure.
And I've also seen major AAA games that are not done till like they hit shelves, like where they really come in hot and land on that aircraft carrier.
Not even hit shelves; they're still deploying patches and fixes.
Well, that's a different story entirely, but yeah. So it is tough to know sort of how 343 is, or how Halo Infinite is going.
We're just gonna have faith
343
that that's gonna be good.
Yeah. So again, I wouldn't panic on this one. As speaking as a Halo fan to fellow Halo fans. Tim Longo has done great stuff in his career. He was a big creative voice behind Star Wars Republic Commando, which if you're an original Xbox player, that was one of the best original Xbox games and one of the better Star Wars games ever as well. Then again, Tim also was kind of the buck stopped with him on Halo 5, which is a game a campaign, not multiplayer,
right?
With a campaign that I'm super not fond of. So, I'm happy that we'll see what Chris and Mary can do to bring this thing home, and we'll see. I mean, I know we've talked about it a lot before, Mark, but this is going to sound like hyperbole, but I really believe that there is more that all right, forget it. I'll just say it. This is going to be hype. This is going to sound hyperbolic. I'm just going to say it. I think the future of Halo as a quadruple A, top 5 industry franchise hinges on this game.
I think so too. It's like Halo 5 came out and it was what it was. Some people love it, some people not
killer
so much.
Multiplayer.
Sure.
It's thrived as an esport and as a multiplayer game.
But it's like Halo's been gone for so long now.
You're right.
Because I've worked here for almost 4 years, and Halo came out before that, Halo 5.
2015.
Yeah,
fall
I
2015.
started. Yeah, so I started in fall 2015. It must have been right after.
Right after, yeah.
I started like a week before Fallout 4 came out. Memories.
Well, that's how you measure time at IGN.
Fallout 76 is old now, so there you go. And that was a long time ago. And not only have we not seen Halo for a while, but it's not like it was left with the greatest impression.
Right. That's exactly right.
So they have to kind of turn it around, and it's a Scarlett launch title.
It is the headliner.
Yeah, so it means a lot to Microsoft that this game be very good as well.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean,
you don't want to go get a day one Scarlett with your fancy Halo Infinite and come out and being like, oh.
As much as I love Halo, the recent history of Halo, as you said, number one is that it's been gone for a while.
It's been gone for a while.
Before that, Halo 5, great multiplayer, bad campaign. Before that, Master Chief Collection, which, hey, yes, it's awesome now. They've added ODST. They're adding Reach.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things to be said now about
but
launch, it had a famously terrible launch.
Yeah.
And then before that, Halo 4, which, again, I think was brilliant campaign, but it was definitely lacking a lot of nobody really remembers its multiplayer super well. So, it's been a while since there's been just that slug it out of the park home run Halo game. Well, and right from the word launch.
Right. Do they use the term reboot when they mention Halo Infinite?
Well,
do they say this is a reboot?
No.
We are rebooting this, or is it just?
I think you're maybe subconsciously remembering. This was actually my IGN Unfiltered interview with Bonnie Ross, where she called it a spiritual reboot. So the plot is the narrative is continuing on. We're picking up after Halo 5.
Yeah.
So it's not like Master Chief is 20 years younger.
Sure,
any of that stuff. It's same universe, same story,
same chief, all that.
But you obviously the art direction.
But
totally
the game
new.
itself is this like kind of new, like you said, art direction. Apparently now narratively, it's like
possibly open world based on the teaser we've gotten.
And so this is kind of like a I don't know how to say it other than reboot, but it's like it is a new coming.
Yes.
Of Halo.
Yes.
It's Halo 6, but not.
Yeah, I think that that may be a good reason they're not calling it Halo 6 because it is veering off on a new path. So yeah, it's I'm not sure, at least for sure in recent memory, I haven't wanted a game to be great like I want Halo Infinite to be great.
It makes me think of Doom. Technically, Doom 2016 is those games don't have huge amounts of story, but it is a somewhat,
it's a reboot
successor of like Doom. Like those things still happened. Doom 1, 2, and 3.
I actually, because it's sort of the original. I think it's kind of its own new thing. I think it is kind of a reboot. Actually.
Maybe I'm remembering that differently. I thought the things that happened at the whatever the place is called. I just platinumed the game, so I can't believe I can't remember any of this stuff. But I thought
Phobos base.
Yeah, like I thought most of the stuff that was like, maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
It's all right, my friend.
It's okay. Like Doom guy already exists, but I guess he already exists in the first one. So I guess that doesn't really make it a thing where it's like, he was sent to hell or whatever, and then he gets, he's like dead for the most part, and then they bring him back after the attack on the base and to clean out the demons. And so I guess you could take that as but maybe not. Anyways, I'm just rambling.
Anyway,
Doom's good.
So yeah, the headline sounds bad. Halo Infinite creative director leaves.
Yeah, it's always
scary. I think
scary.
We're going to be okay.
It's always scary when something's been in the oven this long and then it's like key members of a team are leaving. But
I mean, to our conversation from a few minutes ago, I do wonder how, like, has Halo Infinite actually been, have they been building it?
I guess we don't actually know that.
For the last 4 years, or did they spend 2 years working on ideas and prototypes, and like maybe they've only really been working on it? Like I don't know,
right?
And there's not a good or bad answer. Because
it was unveiled in 2018, but it's not like they had much to show.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, good or bad can come from, a project can be worked on for 3 years and be amazing. It can be worked on for 5 and be terrible or amazing. I mean, there's game development is not. It is much more art than science.
Sure.
Although I'm sure developers will tell you there's a lot of science involved too.
Probably some numbers.
We'll see what happens. So we've got T-minus, what is this, August? End of August? 14 maybe. I mean, at the most, 15 months until Scarlett's out and thus Halo Infinite's out.
Fall 2020.
Yeah. 14 to 15 months, realistically.
What's going to be nuts is that it's either going to be February or March of next year, and then definitely E3, where we're actually probably going to see the game.
Yes,
because you assume that they're going to announce Scarlett somewhere before E3.
Absolutely,
somewhere in February or March. They're going to have an event. Where they're going to say, "This is what this is called. Here's some of the lineup. See you at E3." So that may be the first moment we see Halo Reach or Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I mean, and they'll have plenty of opportunities. My expectation would be they'll show the campaign at that initial Scarlet event.
Sure.
And then I wonder, I bet you E3, they might do a lot of multiplayer.
Sure. And then they're huge Gamescom people, so then Gamescom, that's what they're doing for Gears. Gears was so focused on multiplayer and stuff like that, and now we're finally getting to see, of course, like literally 2 weeks before it comes out, we're seeing some more story stuff. Well, we had seen story stuff before, but they're pushing it again.
I was going to get to that in a couple stories, but since you brought it up, let's segue right to it.
Let's do it.
Yes, Gears 5 shows a new campaign trailer at Gamescom, and it looked real good. It looked really good. Take a look at it on IGN, on our YouTube page, or on the site if you haven't seen it yet. But what I found interesting about this was Rod Ferguson, studio head. He, of course, came and sat in with us. What was that? 2 months ago now. God, time flies. Time flies. He kind of acknowledged. He came out and unprompted talked about how, we've had a plan, and so we've been showing Escape and then Horde and Versus, and then we wanted to show campaign. And they finally showed some campaign, as you noted, just a few weeks before the game's out.
Well, because we got that E3 story trailer, but it was just
Oh, you mean
the Kate and the different mines
right? And it was
stuff like that.
That was a bad trailer.
It's just teaser, just like, hey guys, there's still a campaign.
Yeah,
but we have nothing to show. So here's this weird thing we made with the song.
It's just if you hadn't, that trailer made absolutely no sense. If you hadn't, you even if you'd played Gears 4, it only made sense if you finished Gears 4.
Got it.
So it was like, what is this trailer? But it was great to finally see the campaign. And, I wonder if the fact that Rod, again, I'm probably grasping at straws here, but the fact that Rod, like, unprompted came out and mentioned that and sort of explained himself, like, we had this plan and we want to, I almost wonder if they kind of regret, not showing more campaign this year.
Yeah.
Than up until now. I mean, hopefully, ultimately, it's a moot point and hopefully the game's great. We'll find out very soon.
Sure.
But it was nice to see some slices from the campaign. We are less than 3 weeks out from that game.
Yeah, that is very soon.
Yeah.
Very, very soon.
Super soon.
And if you have Game Pass, it's even sooner.
Yeah, then it's 2 weeks and change at that point. So
yeah.
They did also at Gamescom show some Horde Mode. And what I thought was interesting about that is, well, first of all, I love Horde so much. God, that mode is... Of all it was sort of Horde and Firefight from Halo that spawned the whole wave of PvE multiplayer modes and shooters.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't think there's a better one than Horde in Gears. I've always loved it. I thought the Gears 3 implementation of it was tremendous. It was good in 4. And with this one, Jack will be playable. You'll be able to, if you want, you can take control and be Jack and float around. So it'll be sweet. So you can yell at me, just be like, Jack, rip that door.
Nice.
Be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Very much looking forward to that.
Game.
And then Gears Pop, which we've sort of jokingly brought up here and there.
Literally comes out like
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
It's out tomorrow on, I think, iOS and Android. I think both of them. So... yeah, I am going to be downloading that game because I want to see. I feel like I've not seen gameplay of it. Maybe I have and just have forgotten. But
so
I've seen cartoony trailers.
Yeah, at the reveal, it shows him like this is E3 2018. It shows him kind of like chainsaw through a wall, and then it shows like, I mean, honestly, when you think about it, it's probably 3 seconds. But I'm pretty sure they do show a screen of stuff happening. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
The thing is it free?
I'm sure it is.
So it's like you might as well just jump in.
Yeah. I mean, it's of course going to be monetized in-app purchases and all that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know if it's either free or you got to pay. Yeah, if it's free, you're gonna.
I mean, I think Nintendo's the only one still doing the actual paid. I mean, but although even I think Dr. Mario World's free.
Well, and Mario Run was
$10.
It was $10 after you get past the first world. You get to play through the first world,
right,
and then it was like, you want to keep playing?
Yes,
$10.
Yeah,
Dr. Mario World was free, but they monetized.
Yeah,
No, I'm definitely gonna give that a shot.
So
just because it's like, why not?
We'll talk about it on next week's show. We'll give you some impressions of what we think of it. I honestly, I don't know if we have a review plan for it or not.
I don't know.
I mean, we did review. I'm sure we reviewed Super Mario Run.
Yeah, no, we definitely.
That was a big deal.
And we reviewed Dr. Mario World, and I'm sure, I don't know. I'll go grab Dan.
Yeah, just drag him in here. We'll find out. And then finally, on the Gears note, if you get the Ultimate Edition of Gears 5, so if you're paying a bit more, you will get a Halo Reach character pack, thereby linking the last story to this one. So yes, you can play as Spartans in multiplayer. If you're
with the original voice actors.
You're an Ultimate Edition customer.
That's cool. Why not?
I like that.
Sure.
Why not? Why not have
crossover?
A nice crossover?
Everyone saw coming, but that doesn't make it bad.
Hey, they've already got Terminator in the multiplayer, and why not have the Spartans too?
Why not?
So yes. Now next, well, we were talking about Scarlett a minute ago with Infinite. Phil Spencer sat down with our friends at GameSpot, talking Scarlett a little bit, and he was talking about the importance of playability and high frame rates. These are his words. So he says, quote, ensuring that the games load incredibly fast, ensuring that the game is running at the highest frame rate possible. We're also the Windows company, so we see that work. We see the work that goes on for PC and the work that developers are doing. People love 60 frames per second games, so getting games to run at 4K 60, I think, will be a real design goal for us. He continued, quote, how fast do games load? Do I feel like I can get into the game as fast as possible? And while it's playing, how does it feel? Does this game both look and feel like no other game I've seen? That's our target, Spencer said. So that gives you an idea of where Phil is thinking about Scarlett from a holistic perspective, not just from a teraflops and CPU power and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's no more like this is how much this is what this has. I'm thinking, hey, you know the term for because like teraflops became like a meme where it was like, how many teraflops does my whatever have? And so it's like he's kind of like, hey, 4K 60. Well, and then this tweet is interesting, so I'm just going to let you read that, and then we can talk some more. your tweet you have here.
Yeah, so I mean, my interpretation of this. I mean, he does more or less say it, but I think it's a reasonable expectation. I know we gamers are often guilty of taking something and interpreting it and setting a super high expectation. And then when it's not that, we end up angry and or disappointed. But I think it's fair to extrapolate from that 4K 60 is going to be a pretty standard thing across most games in the same way that 720p HD was the de facto standard
if you're
on
making
360
a 360 game, it needs to be at least 720.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there were some exceptions to that over the years. Halo 3 ran a touch lower so that they could keep their frame rate up at a pretty steady 30. And, you know, I'm sure there will be exceptions to this as well, but I do think by and large 4K 60 is likely to be the standard for everything. Now, when I tweeted that out, an Xbox VP, our friend Mike Ibarra, aka Xbox Quick on Twitter, wrote back to me because he follows me, so he must have seen my tweet, and he goes, "That's all?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if Mike's just having a little fun there, or if we can actually expect perhaps higher frame rates on a lot of games, because you know the newer TVs, newer monitors definitely support higher refresh rates.
Yeah, so that was like the big key takeaway for me is if he's saying like that's all, if that's an actual thing. The consoles we have right now are set to only output 60 FPS. They cannot go higher than that.
They don't really have the horsepower to do so.
And it's like they can go lower. But if you go to your settings, 60, that's all you're getting. But 144 is becoming more and more important to people. And
certainly in the PC community.
Yeah,
obviously.
And as someone who has played games on, I play games at 144 here at work, there is a difference. Your eyeballs may not be able to see it, but you can definitely feel a difference. Some people say that they can see it. I don't really see the difference. But it's just like response time.
Interesting.
Feels so much different. And it's also going to depend on like lightness and darkness, like less artifacting if there's higher frame rates and stuff like that. And so, if they're saying 4K 60 for everything and he's saying like that's all, like maybe they're thinking 4K 120, like that could be cool.
Or for certain games, like maybe a Forza Motorsport dials it up higher, you know, because Forza has been pushing the envelope from a raw technical perspective for a while here. You know, they've been 4K 60 on the Xbox One, on the X.
Well, and what's always going to be tough, what's always going to be tough is to take something like, especially since the fact that Xbox is so like Xbox and PC, they're going to make Halo Infinite, and then Activision's going to make Call of Duty.
Right.
And Halo Infinite is going to run at 4K 60, let's say, but then the PC version, which is going to release on the exact same day, is going to run at 4K 144 hertz or 240 hertz. And so it's like, it's kind of like PC's always kind of been that thing where it's like, here's the true experience. But if you're bringing if they want to bring that to console, he mentions that we've always been a Windows company. It's like, if they want to be able to bring that to console where it's like, hey, you don't have a PC, but you can do this on Scarlett. Well, yeah, but I like the 144 hertz. Well, we have it now on Scarlett.
Yeah.
I do picture that becoming a thing.
That would be pretty sweet. And we're, of course, we can't even rule out, we see this on the Xbox One X now, where a lot of games that do take advantage of the X have PC-like menu settings where maybe you dial down the frame rate and dial up the effects, or vice versa, right? So,
sure.
For all we know, Infinite on Scarlett could have a setting of, do you want to set it to 144 frames per second, but maybe we're going to just dial the graphical details. Or
it could just be a multiplayer thing. So you have something like Gears 4 on, let's say, the original Xbox. Campaign runs at 30. But the multiplayer, even on the launch Xbox One, runs at 60.
Yes.
And so it could be a thing where it's like 4K 60 FPS for campaign, but when you do jump into multiplayer, you have the option, if you have a display that supports it, bring it up to 144.
I like that. I like that. That would be...
Because that's where it matters most.
Yes, and that is the direction that Microsoft has been going, is just giving their consumers more choices in all things. Whether it's design your own custom controller, or have a million different settings,
or the billions of consoles that are out now. The Gears console looks dope.
Yeah. They got to see it over in Gamescom. They had one out, and there's pictures and video of it.
They put out a whole trailer of just like how we made it.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Looks super good.
Yeah.
Yes. Feel like
that's very exciting. It's very exciting to I don't know, man, these consoles are going to be really good. And I'm hoping they're doing the classic oversell, under like charge kind of deal, where it's like, when you look at this,
under promise, over deliver.
No,
no.
I think they're definitely promising. What it seems like companies do is they here's the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. These things are going to be amazing. They're going to run at 4K. They're going to do all this, and so then in your mind you think, wow, this thing's going to be $700, and then they're like, and it's $400. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen here. I bet that these are both going to be $500.
I'm 100% with you. I don't think they're a penny less than $499.
I don't think so.
And that's,
but if they're $600, that becomes this like weird PlayStation 3 era price.
But I think if that happens, this is a whole other topic. But
sure.
I mean, there's a long time between now and 14, 15 months from now. But the reality is, there's the Chinese, the trade war with China that could end up bumping up the price of consumer goods like consoles, because
it costs more to like bring them over and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we had a story on IGN that's, I believe, gosh, I'll have to check later after the fact. Someone's already fact checking this for me that's listening right now.
Sure. Hey, what's up?
I think we had a story that Sony already said we might need to raise our prices if all these tariffs and things
go through.
I
guess we'll see.
That's a different story entirely, but yeah, no, I'm with you. $499 is going to be the sweet spot,
because the Xbox One X was already $500.
Right, and that launched at $500, and that seemed to go very well for Microsoft, and they can move the X down to, well, because it's at $450 now, I believe.
Something like that. I know it hasn't lowered very much.
Yeah, but I'm sure it'll get down to at least $400, maybe even $350. But when Scarlett's coming out,
it's just this weird thing for me where I think $400 is this like sweet spot, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hit it with this. But it does. It gives me, if a console costing $600 gives me launch PS3 vibes. And people are very, very terrified of that. Hey, guys, you want an Xbox Scarlett? Get a second job.
Let's not dredge that up again.
Like, that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. It's like $600 for a console is, whew.
Because then even plus tax, you're already at like $650.
Yeah,
in most states.
Well, and I know a lot of people are like me, but it's like if you have a spouse who also plays video games, my spouse works here. She wants a PlayStation 5. She's not going to let me buy a PlayStation 5. I got to buy 2 PlayStation 5s.
Or, I think the more common situation might be if you want both PS5 and Scarlett,
That too.
You're
That
suddenly
too.
like, ugh, that's a lot of money.
Mark, who works in the video game industry, if I also want an Xbox, I'm gonna have to take out a loan.
Yeah, it's we'll
That's
see.
with no games.
But I'm with you though. I think $4.99 is barring any government issues on either side of
For sure.
the ocean. That's probably where we're looking to go here. All right. Speaking of Sony, they made a studio purchase of their own. Microsoft has bought, 7 studios over the last year or so to really flesh out their first-party portfolio. Well, Sony's first-party portfolio's been fleshed out for a while, and
they decided to go shopping still.
They went to the store and grabbed themselves. They just picked up Insomniac, put them in their shopping cart, went to checkout.
Done.
And
done deal. So, I'm sure it was that easy.
That easy. Insomniac Games, makers most recently of Marvel's Spider-Man last fall.
Fantastic.
One of my favorite games from last year.
Fantastic.
They have been acquired outright. And of course, Ratchet and Clank. They've been making Ratchet and Clank for Sony for years. They are now a Sony in-house studio. And if you're saying, Ryan, why are you doing this story? This isn't Beyond. Well, because of course, fans such as myself who love Sunset Overdrive, their one Xbox exclusive game. They've made multi-platform stuff in the past. Anybody remember Fuse? That's right. The answer is no. No, you remember that the game did not go well. But yeah, Sunset Overdrive, of course, the big Xbox exclusive that Insomniac did in fall 2014. That game's going to be 5 years old in a couple months.
There's always been a twinge of, could there be a second one?
Could there be? It didn't sell well, but that was when the Xbox was really kind of the Xbox One was really kind of at its lowest point. Things were not good in Xbox land by any metric at that juncture in time.
Sure.
So always held out hope, but this will pretty well seal the deal that we will never see Sunset Overdrive 2.
Sure.
Which is a shame. I mean, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, it was one of those things where when Spider-Man came out and it was critically adored, sold super well, I think most people kind of already figured, okay, they're going to make Spider-Man 2.
There's going to be at least one more.
There's going to be at least one more Spider-Man game. Or the whole the idea of because, they were asked what they could have made any other superheroes. Like they chose Spider-Man. And so it's like, oh, maybe no Spider-Man 2, but maybe something else. But it's like, or maybe Sunset Overdrive 2. Well, now you know.
Now we know.
Now you know. And that could be a relief in its own. Now you're no longer wandering.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. We gotta pour one out.
For
over. Sunset Overdrive.
It's over.
It was a one and done franchise. I guess a game can't be a franchise if there's only one of them. But
sure.
Again, if you have an Xbox and you haven't played Sunset Overdrive, it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Do yourself a favor and play it.
Give it a go.
It takes, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people in the office shared this opinion at the time as well. Give yourself half an hour to really get acclimated to the controls because the traversal in that game is unlike other open world games. You're like skating around on power lines, and the way you get around the world it's a little weird at first, but as soon as the switch flips in your head and you get used to it, it feels so good. I mean, in a lot of ways, if you have played Spider-Man on PS4, and I hope you have because it's tremendous.
Very good.
And if you haven't played Sunset and you were to now go back and play Sunset Overdrive after playing Spider-Man, you'll see a lot of Spider-Man's DNA in Sunset Overdrive. Like there's a lot in there, particularly with traversal. I know, yes, Spider-Man has his, it gets around in his very Spider-Man way, but there's Insomniac got really good at navigating, having the player character navigate open worlds.
Sure.
In Sunset Overdrive is where.
Well, it's this whole idea of it has a thing with. I made a Spider-Man video maybe a month ago, and then I remember I ended up just booting the game up and just kind of swung around the world because it was just you forget how fun it is to like, hey, this is how far away you are from the object. The idea of not caring that there's fast travel is awesome.
Yes.
Like there's fast travel in Spider-Man, and I barely remember using it.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
And so it's like Sunset could be the same thing.
And it is. It is. You will find that in Sunset Overdrive. So yeah, I guess I don't know if this will be the last time I ever make a plea to the audience to play Sunset Overdrive because I've done it many times, but this is now that we're officially burying Sunset Overdrive 2 as an idea, it's over. This is it.
It's like you might as well, if you were always waiting for Sunset Overdrive 2 to get announced to then go back and play the first one so that way it'll be fresh.
Ain't happening.
There's no reason to wait for it to ever be topical again, so you might as well just play it.
And by the way, congratulations to Insomniac too on that acquisition, because what it means is that is such a talented group of people. They will now have the security and the resources to keep doing their thing.
Sure.
Just like, I mean, it's the same thing we've said about, like, we said that exact same thing about Double Fine down the street. Like, with them being under the Microsoft banner now, they have the security and the freedom to just do their creative awesomeness, which is what they're so good at, and Insomniac too. So,
and no one ever has to explain what second party is ever again. They are first party studio.
That's true. That is very true. All right, to wrap up, we've got a few more quick stories, but good ones. Mark, 7 new games hitting Game Pass.
Yes,
in the month of August. So some of these that I'm going to read to you are out now on Game Pass. If you go to look for one of these and it's not there, it will be there by August 30th. So in the next week and a half or so. We've got Devil May Cry 5, Blair Witch. So that's launching into Game Pass.
The second it comes out
next week. Yep.
We're playing it.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, which was a lot of people like that one. Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut, which is the Xbox debut of that PC game from In Exile, which again another Microsoft acquisition on that. So Director's Cut has a lot of tweaks and new content. Stellaris, Age of Empires Definitive Edition. Now that's PC only, so that's Xbox Game Pass for PC or Ultimate.
Yep.
And then same with Ape Out.
Yeah,
that's PC. That's so that you won't be playing that one on Xbox. That's a PC game. But yeah, I mean, certainly the highlight there, Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, I watched the Inside Xbox on Monday morning, and when they showed that Devil May Cry, I tweeted about it because I was just like, holy smokes, man. Because Devil May Cry 5 is a Game of the Year contender for most people.
We gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It is going to be in the mix for sure.
And I feel like that game just came out. And now if you were thinking about ever jumping in, now you can if you already have Game Pass, now you can for free. Yeah. You can for something you already have.
Yep.
That's nuts.
It's awesome.
Game Pass continues to be a really, and then Blair Witch.
Yeah, launching
Blair Witch is coming out, and you're like, do I want to play this like spooky game? Well, now you get to just try it. And if it's not for you,
just do it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Give some pets to Bullet the dog.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome preview on Blair Witch by Lucy O'Brien, our in-house horror game expert, up on that, and she made the preview all about the dog, whose name is Bullet.
Cool.
So
sounds good.
That was the correct way she previewed the game.
She went for it.
Just to focus on the dog. Next up, Mark, I know you were a PUBG player for a while, right?
A little.
Lapsed?
A little. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Once Blackout came out, Blackout is the last Battle Royale game I may ever play. Only because...
Were you done with the genre?
I'm kind of done with the genre.
Done with the genre, huh? I swearing it off.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like not to derail it here, but it's like World of Warcraft is probably the only MMO I'll ever play. I sunk so much time into that that I've played Final Fantasy 14, I've played just other things, and I was just like, WoW was my MMO. That's kind of how Blackout is to me. I put so much time into Blackout, learning that map, learning how that game works.
Yeah. That
I just, every time I jump into anything else, I'm like, nah.
Well,
Done.
for those of you out there, because there are plenty of people out there
Yes.
still playing PUBG,
People love it.
some fantastic news, a major new update hitting next week, which adds a number of things, including some graphical polish. But the highlight here, by far, crossplay, PS4, and I'm not talking PC, PS4 and Xbox players able to play together, which is just, this is the future we want.
It's happening.
This is great.
It's happening.
It is happening.
I can't wait.
Yeah, this is a Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall kind of moment.
Yeah, I get that reference.
You
I don't.
do?
No,
You
not
don't?
at all.
No.
Not at all.
I know nobody else. I'm the only one, and even I'm barely old enough to remember Reagan as president in my lifetime. But yes, that was Ronald Reagan's wanting the Berlin Wall torn down.
Great.
And then it got torn down.
Yeah.
Little history lesson for you.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare launching as crossplay. Destiny is becoming this weird crossplay thing where your save is crossplay. And so, and I may be understanding this incorrectly, but basically your save can go to another console. You have to own the game on both consoles. So technically, even though you're on PS4 and you can't play with Xbox people, if you own Destiny on both consoles, your save will change between the two.
Okay.
So you can just boot up the game. The save is saved server side.
Yes.
You're always playing your character linked with your Bungie
Okay.
account.
I feel like that's
So
probably going to be more useful for like if you wanted to dip over to PC.
Yeah, it's
versus just like, because why would you? I mean, I guess if you have different groups of friends,
I just see it as like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
To the walls crumbling down. Like the fact that like and that's happening in like a week. Or maybe tomorrow. It might be like August 23rd, actually. The fact that like I have a ton of friends that play on PC, but I play on PS4. We're going to be able to play together. Modern Warfare is coming out. We're going to be able to play together. PUBG people are going to be able to.
It's great.
It's really, really cool. I'm
And
very excited.
It really bodes well heading into the next generation as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this.
You may not have to buy unless it's just for first party, both consoles. For the most part, you might be able to survive on just one for your third party venture.
In other words, for playing with your friends.
Playing with friends, yeah. Like, hey, what are you getting Call of Duty for? Hey, what are you getting this for?
Those conversations might go away.
They're finally starting to kind of go away, and that'll be really cool.
So, tip of the cap to PUBG Corp. That is just great to see.
Made it happen.
And finally this week, just a quick programming note. Mostly probably directed at any European listeners we've got out there. XO19. That's Microsoft's big Xbox fan fest that we'd spent years calling for them to do. Why isn't Microsoft doing their own PSX? Well, now they are doing one. They did it last year in Mexico, and this year they are heading to London.
Yep.
So if you're in the UK, in London, or Europe, I know it's much sort of quicker to get around in Europe than across the giant United States.
Sure.
Geographically. But yeah, look for XO19 in London, November 14th to the 16th. There will be an Inside Xbox.
Yeah, Aaron Greenberg was on the Inside Xbox for Gamescom and was really pushing it, saying that they are going to have some cool stuff.
See, Aaron, I love Aaron. He's a marketing guy.
Sure.
I hope
that was teeing you up.
I know. I would love to be wrong, but I can't see them making a ton of huge announcements.
It's really, really tough. That if there is a thick of it, mid-November is. I mean, actually, that's not even true. The thick of it would be like end of October.
Right.
That would kind of be coming out of the fall season.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
You don't think so?
No, there's still
what's huge coming out after November 15th? Obviously we don't have calendars.
This takes place on November 15th.
That's what I'm saying though. Is like I mean, there's huge announcements to be made maybe for spring stuff, but like nothing in the immediate future. Like the Gamescom stuff that they're announcing now, we're going to be playing in the next month.
Is Jedi Fallen Order on the 15th? Is that what that's? I know that's one of the later releases.
Yeah, that
year.
is one of the later ones.
I'm super stoked for that. Yeah, I'm very stoked for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's everybody's playing all the big releases.
Right.
It's not traditionally a time where you make
And that's kind of what I mean is by November 15th, all of these games are going to be out. So it's like, yeah, like maybe they'll tee up some spring stuff. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of their big fall 2019 games will already have been released.
And really the kind of, I guess, the bigger point I'm making is that which is sort of regardless of the timing of XO19, it's more, I don't really expect any major announcements from Microsoft by what the community would consider major, like big new AAA game announcements, hardware announcements, studio acquisition kind of stuff. Because I think we're more or less in a moratorium is maybe not quite the right word. That might be too strong a word, but I just don't think we're going to see any significant Xbox news until Scarlett is actually announced.
And they're not going to do that before Christmas this year.
No, that would be, or I'd be stunned if they did.
Sure.
I'd be very, very stunned if they did. So, yeah, because I feel like once, Scarlett's the big thing. Once that is announced, then Microsoft will start announcing games for Scarlett, like Fable, for instance. Like the Fable announcement, well, even though it's kind of the poorly kept secret right now, that's not getting announced until Scarlett is.
Sure.
The Forza Motorsport 8. I've lost count. I believe 8's the next one. 7 was the last one.
Be a little too early for that.
Yeah, because we had 5, 6, and 7 on the Xbox One. Anyway, the next Forza's not going to get announced until Scarlett is, because that's going to be Forza Motorsport 8 is, I would bet lunch with anyone. Motorsport 8 is a day one Scarlett launch title alongside.
Yeah, well, the
Halo
consoles are going to launch with a good 6 to 8 games that show off what this new console can do.
I hope so.
And and that's being a little, and so you would have to assume, hey, why would we pimp the new Forza as, when we know we're going to make it look awesome?
Right. They're not going to come out and talk about it as an Xbox One game. Yeah. They're going to wait and talk about it as a Scarlett game. So anyway, my point is, I'm sure we'll get some fun little things out of out of that inside Xbox at XO19, but I would not expect anything anything on the order of what we used to get out of PSX, where Sony would show new stuff from major games. Like, I don't think.
Well, and they haven't even done that in a couple of years.
Right.
So.
They've kind of got fallen by the wayside. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, but I still want to emphasize, if you're near there, or it would be super fun to go to.
Could still be a fun time.
Yeah, if you're in the UK, if you're in Europe, it'll be a really fun event to go to and enjoy. All right, Mark, that's it for a lot of news this week. Let's do a loot box question real quick. It's only 2 of us.
Why not?
So we'll do what we can here. Michael in St. Louis saying, my friend and I were talking that since we're both a little older now and tend to buy more games digitally, that it had been a few years since we'd been to a midnight release for a video game. And they're saying that they don't really expect they'll ever go to another one.
Sure.
He says, I was wondering if any of you guys have ever attended a midnight release for a game, and if so, which games? And he notes he did Halo 2, 3, Reach, and then Mass Effect 2 and 3 midnight releases. Did you ever do a midnight release, Mark?
All the time.
Yeah?
So I used to work at, a lot of people probably don't even, I used to work for Hollywood Video, which was attached to Game Crazy. I don't know if anybody remembers Game Crazy, but that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of back then, and then Hollywood Video went away. And so, I would work on that side to kind of help with those midnight releases. But I've gone to, and so I went to the Halo 3 midnight release as well. So that's super cool. I went to like GTA 5. I've gone to all the World of Warcraft ones until I stopped playing. So I would say maybe up to Cataclysm and since Burning Crusade. And it was really cool for Mists of Pandaria. I went to that one, and they were doing stuff in the line because there were so many people there. And I ended up winning a free copy of the game. So I went there and I got to just cancel my pre-order. Like I went up and they were like, "Oh, you won the free copy of the game," and they handed me the game and then they refunded me my money. It was awesome.
That's like the best transaction ever.
It was great. They were like, "Here's your money." Well, it was GameStop, so they're like, "Do you want to put this towards another pre-order?" I was like, "No, just give me my money back, cancel my pre-order, and give me my game." And then I would go straight home and play it. It's been a while, but the last one I went to, it's been a while since I went to them a lot, but it hasn't been that long since I've been to one. I went to, they're also not midnight releases anymore. They're like 9 p.m. or something.
Right, because
so
of digital, so
yeah.
they unlock at midnight Eastern, but then out here on the West Coast, they unlock at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so I went to, I really wanted, I kind of like on a whim wanted Mario Maker 2. And I'm not super in on Switch Digital yet because like the Switch memory card just gets filled up so fast. And so I went and bought the game that day and then came back for the midnight release. There was like me and like maybe 7 other people there. And I also went to the Mario Odyssey one,
nice.
Another Switch one. And that one had a few more people. That one was cool. I do know the next one I'm going to. I'm getting the Steelbook edition for Death Stranding, and I'm going to the midnight release for that one.
Yeah.
Just to go. I live right across the street from a GameStop.
Oh, then yeah.
So we just, every time I want to go to GameStop, I just walk.
Yeah.
It is
Can't beat that.
Right across the street.
Can't beat
you
that.
can almost see, if you walk to the edge of my apartment complex, you can see it. And so I did pre-order Death Stranding to get the Steelbook edition because I want a physical copy of the game. And so I'll probably go to that one. And then, maybe when the consoles come out. But for games, I do a lot of digital.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty all digital at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. I feel like I don't know. I can't think of one, but I feel like I have at some point. But then the more I thought about this after Michael in St. Louis sent this in, I realized like I think I've been in the industry for about as long as since midnight releases have been a thing. So that has afforded me early access to most of this stuff.
And that's
which
another thing.
I say very humbly, like it's a great privilege that I just haven't needed to go to a midnight release.
I was going to, it's the same kind of deal. I haven't been to one in a long time because there are many instances where we'll get the game early here, and even if it's not yours, you don't feel this need to be there day one. You'll just buy it digitally or just whatever, So I do like them though. I do like the energy that they have.
That's the fun part. I
do like
completely.
being at a place where there's 150 people. These were back in the WoW days. And and everyone's talking about this. And that's kind of what I want to experience with Death Stranding is you're going to see Kojima shirts and you're going to see Death Stranding shirts and stuff like that. And I have a Fragile sweatshirt and stuff like that. Like I'm very excited to like be there for the experience of.
Absolutely.
And then getting the game and being like, I have this, and I know it's faster to do it digitally because right at 9, boom, it unlocks and you're able to just play it. But I mean, what's 15 minutes? I get to go home and it's fine.
Yeah.
I do like them. I just, as a 30-year-old man, I don't go to them too often.
No, that's good stuff. Yeah, but you're right. I guess digital has, which is part of Michael's point, digital has largely killed the midnight release because it's just like, you just wait in front of your console for the game you've already
for the timer that's on the screen to say you're good to go. You're
go ahead and play now.
You're done.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, well, and then same with console. I have a picture of me at a Target with 1 billion people behind me because there's a huge line. I was there first, holding like a PlayStation 4, like day one. Same with Switch. I went. Me, Destin, Brian Malkowicz. We all went to the Walnut Creek Target. Stood in line and got a Switch. And it's cool, It's not... Amazon has kind of killed these, like, camaraderie moments of a ton of people grouping together to get this new thing. And so I do like that it still exists out there. Yeah.
I don't even do it... Like, I haven't even lined up for a new iPhone in years.
I've never done that.
Because it's just like... not like overnight, because they would do it in the morning.
Yeah.
I used to go... in the early days, like, I got to go try and get the new one.
But you did stand in line for Tesla, didn't you?
To pre-order it, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time
But
ago.
I bet that was awesome.
That was awesome. And it was
Yeah.
it was exactly like what you're talking about, whereas everybody was just excited about this new thing.
It's the only time where you can go to something. You go to something like E3 and it's great. Everyone's gamers, but everyone's there for different things. And it's like, this is the only time where you get to go to something and it's like, hey guys, when this line's over, we're going to have whatever. You know, we're all going to walk out with Model 3 pre-orders. We're all going to walk out with a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox or Death Stranding. It's very exciting.
It really is.
It's really cool.
It's good times for
So
sure.
I'm glad that you go to them. And
You know, the one that popped into my head, if there was a midnight release, like which there is, I probably did for Diablo 2.
Oh,
because
cool.
that was when I was still in college, and Diablo, I was so excited for that game. I love the original Diablo, and Diablo 2 went on and is still, it lived up and became one of my all-time favorite games. I remember having, like, I had multiple copies of Diablo 2 because I had the standard one and then I had like the big collector's edition.
Sure.
So I think I did do a midnight release for Diablo 2.
why have they never remade Diablo 2?
Just make it work. Like Diablo 1 is on GOG now.
Yeah.
They've got it running and it works.
Well, they did that weird thing where Diablo 3, you can play Diablo. I think that's limited time, but it's not really.
That was like an in-game event. That's not play Diablo. It's
Diablo
just like,
2 is fantastic.
so good.
That is a fantastic
So
game.
good. Ugh, anyway. All right. Unlock block trivia right now. All right. Okay, good. I hit the right button.
Cool. We're back. And we're back.
Yeah, and we're back. Welcome. Now, Mark. Okay.
Sir.
Andrew Fitzsimmons writes in. This is your chance to just pick up a point on everybody here because everybody's gone. Let me see.
I've read this question.
Let me see where you stand. Let's see here. If I bring up my notes, it is the following. Mark has 2 points.
Well,
This is a good chance for you to get back in it, though. That's the thing.
who's in the lead?
Destin with 8.
Oh, God. There's not that many weeks left.
You can do it. I believe in you.
There's still a good amount of time, but Destin's here a lot.
He's
So
here a
we'll
lot,
see.
but all right.
We'll see.
Andrew Fitzsimmons asks, the 2007 Xbox 360 exclusive JRPG Blue Dragon.
Now,
Remember that one?
I do.
It's a very good game.
Never played it.
It featured a soundtrack that included a song by a popular British band from that era. What band was it? You didn't play the game, so you're guessing here. If it makes you feel better, I didn't know this either, and I did play a little bit of Blue Dragon.
Okay.
So was it the band Bring Me the Horizon?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Enter Shikari? Was it Muse? Or was it Arctic Monkeys?
I have a 25% chance of getting this right. I only know Muse. I don't know any of these other ones. Maybe Arctic Monkeys. Let's do... I don't know. Let's do A. Why not?
You go and Bring Me the Horizon?
Sure.
I was really hoping you would guess the right one, but you
Sorry.
didn't.
Okay.
No, it's Enter Shikari. So
Okay, I was switching between A and B, so oh well.
Excellent job stumping Mark there by Andrew. So good stuff,
Not
Andrew.
hard.
If you would like to try and fool the panel, send your I need loot box questions for the panel and unlock block trivia questions. You can send them both to the same place. That email address is unlocked@ign.com. In the case of the trivia, please do include 4 multiple choice answers in your question and do note the correct one as well. And we'll play again next week when we've got more reinforcements
Yeah.
back from
Maybe someone will get it.
from Germany. All right, that'll do it, Mark. Would you like to plug anything that you're working on or that people should
man.
see?
It's this weird time right now where I'm just working on a lot of little things, helping with Gamescom coverage as it comes in. It's very strange because we come in around 9 or so, and it's like already 6 over there.
Yeah.
And so it's not that they're shutting down, but it doesn't take long before it's like, hey, it's 10 over here, and you're like, oh. So I wouldn't say nothing too big. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark_Medina, and we'll leave it at that.
Sounds good. You can catch me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Just a polite plug for the Borderlands 3 IGN first stuff that the team's been cranking so hard on this month. Love to get as many eyeballs on that as we can. And then, well, you know what? Actually, I did just do my first review in a while. It's been a little while since I reviewed something. I reviewed Rad.
You sure
the
did.
new Double Fine game.
Yeah.
And I very much liked it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's there was a lot to like. It was more challenging and deeper than I expected it to be after having initially previewed it. But I say that those are both good things. That it was challenging, deeper and more challenging. So, yeah, that is now out on Xbox. It's out on everything, but yeah, it's on Xbox. So please check out my review of that either on YouTube or on IGN. And with that, my friend, you and I will hit the road. We will see everybody again next week.